Hello. Hey YouTube. Hey everyone. Today's video is hopefully simple, hopefully quick. We want to get it done in under half an hour, ideally, so let's get started. The premise is simple. Who is the best and what should your priority be for the free 4-star event coming up in Genshin Impact? For reference, this list is going to be probably aimed a little more towards free-to-play-ish accounts. Like, this will mostly be aimed at free-to-play to dolphins. Whales don't need to care about this. This list is mostly for free-to-plays and dolphins. Our categories here are highest priority, improves overall account but not highest priority, nice but you can do without them, and just don't. Now, I probably won't be rating Xiangling here. I don't think I will be touching C0 Xiangling because I'm going to put that in just don't. Because you get that for free. And since the list starts with Beidou, we're going to start with Beidou. So, Beidou overall as a character herself. I would say nice, but you can do without her. Like, Beidou, without any constellations, you can do better. I feel like she starts to get good around C2, but first, let's do it in order. For her C1, it is when Stormbreaker is used, it creates a shield that absorbs up to 16% of her HP for 15 seconds. The shield absorbs electro damage 250% more efficiently. That's cool, but that is honestly where I'd say that's where she starts to shine, in my opinion. So that's where I'd say she improves your overall account, but it's not necessarily the highest priority. It's an electro shield. You'll be fine. Now, C2, Stormbreaker's Arc Lightning can jump to up to 2 additional targets. That right there, that brings her to, you know what? I'll say that's a highest priority, because that gives you a damaging shielder. That's a pretty good 4-star. Okay. Now C3, I'm going to do this a lot with C3 and C5s, but yeah, it's nice, but you can do without it. They are just increases to your burst and skill levels, and unless a character scales really well, or unless that skill is particularly important, I'm probably just gonna toss it in nice, but you can do without it. But moving on, Stunning Revenge. Upon being attacked, Beidou's normal attacks gain additional instance of 20% electro damage for 10 seconds. It's nice, but for the most part, I'm seeing Beidou being used as a off-field support. She comes in, does her burst, you use her skill, and then you're swapping off to the rest of your team. So I'm not seeing that. And for her final constellation, during the duration of Stormbreaker, the electro resistance of surrounding opponents is decreased by 15%. You know what? I'm gonna put that in it sounds nice, it's really good on paper, but what holds me back from putting it any higher is that electro is generally not going to be your main damage element for your team. So it's kind of specifically good for electro teams, which puts it down in for me. So next up on our list, we have Chongyun. Base Chongyun, I'll put him in highest priority, because Chongyun is part of the national team, which is the bread and butter of the free-to-play world. You use your Xiangling, you use Chongyun, you use Xingqi, and Bennett is the last slot of that team. That's national team. His C1, the last attack of Chongyun's normal attack combo, releases 3 Ice Blades, deals 50% of Chongyun's attack as cryo damage to all opponents in its path. You know what? I'm gonna put that in just don't. Yeah, you don't generally use Chongyun as a main DPS in national team, which is the kind of lens I'm looking at him through for this. So I wouldn't I wouldn't consider that a good constellation for him, especially if that's going to be your one free character. I wouldn't bother. For his Constellation 2, Atmospheric Revolution. Elemental skills and elemental bursts cast within the frost field created by his skill have their cooldowns decreased by 15%. You know what? That's going to go in nice what you can do without it. It almost goes and improves overall account, but it's not like you take him over anyone else for that particular constellation or for that particular ability. So it's nice, like it's cool when you have it, but no. Now Cloudburst, we're going to do a C3 and 5 together. Increases the level of his burst. Actually, his C3 and 5 are at the same place as Beidou's. Increase the level of his skill. You know what? It's nice since that's what you use him for, but he can do without it. For his C4 now, Chongyun regenerates 1 energy every time he hits an opponent affected by cryo. This can only occur once every 2 seconds. That goes to Between the cooldown and the fact that that means you have to have Chongyun on the field, I would just rather not. It's not enough. 1 particle isn't enough with a 2-second cooldown. Now his C6, your Burst, Spirit Blade Cloud Parting Star, deals 15% more damage to enemies with lower percentage of their max HP remaining than Chongyun, and this will also summon an additional Spirit Blade. This is improves overall account, but it's not highest priority. So it makes his burst more damaging, and as long as your Chongyun is healthy, and if he's not on the field very often, he should be, it's 15% extra damage. Next up we have Ningguang. Now, Ningguang overall is She is a Geo main damage unit and a catalyst user, which puts her in a kind of particular niche of range DPS and main DPS. Like, she wants to be on field, that's her whole thing. But she can be powerful if she's well invested, so that prevents her from being a just no. Now, her C1 is nice, but you can do without it. This Piercing Fragments gives her normal attack hits AoE damage. So instead of just hitting one thing with her normal attacks, she does a nice little area damage, which is cute. It's cool, you love to see it, but it's not enough to improve your overall account. The next is her Shock Effect. When Jade Screen is shattered, its cooldown will reset, and it can occur every 6 seconds, allowing you to have full uptime, 100% uptime on your Jade Screen. But the reason for it is this is a lot of investment you're going to have to put into Ningguang to see the kind of results you're going to want to see, and just a fair warning, that's a lot of investment. Her C3 increases the level of Star Shatter. This would break the trend and go into overall account improvement, but she's a selfish main DPS. She can do crazy damage with her burst, Star Shatter, but it's not an account improvement because she doesn't support your account. Her C5 is going to go down in because her Jade Shield is fine. Her C4, however, her Jade Screen increases characters' elemental resistance by 10%. I mean, if you're using a shield, then that doesn't particularly help you, but it is some element of support for your team, I guess. Now her C6. It goes up with the rest of her best skills. You get an extra Star Jade, I believe, when you use Star Shatter. And when Star Shatter is used, Ningguang gains 6 Star Jades. It's more DPS for your Ningguang. Hooray. Hooray. Like, legitimately, hooray. So, for the next character, we have Xiangling. I already discussed her C0. Her C0 is what it is. You get it for free, so don't get it free here. That's how I feel. Now, her C1 is opponents hit by Guoba's attacks have their pyro resistance reduced by 15% for 6 seconds. Nice, but you can do without it. It's good to see a character's C1 be up here. Guoba hits more often than every 6 seconds, so you can have that up 100% of the time. It allows her to be a support. C2, the last attack in the normal attack sequence, applies implode status onto the opponent for 2 seconds. An explosion will occur once the duration ends, dealing 75% of Xiangling's attack as AoE pyro damage. You know what? We're going to put this in nice that you can do without it, and we're going to put her C1 in improves overall account. That's how we're going to do this. So once you get her for free in the Spiral Abyss, your C1, that's nice, and the C2, it's okay. It's more damage for your Xiangling. Now, here's where you're going to see a big break in the trends. Her C3, that increases the level of Pyronado by 3. This is gonna go with to improves overall account, but not highest priority. Pyronado is an insanely good burst. If you're free to play, if you're a whale, if you're a dolphin, like, this is a really good constellation. Xiangling's an insanely good character, which is also why Slow Bake increases Pyronado's duration by 40%, is going to be her first constellation that breaks the highest priority. If you are a user of Xiangling and you have her at C3, and especially if she's well invested, this is going to take your Xiangling up to the next level. So that's what I have to say. Her C4 breaks the highest priority. Now her C5 is a just don't. Guoba is not great. Her C5 increases Guoba's level by 3, and the problem with this is Guoba, like I said, his AI isn't great. And her C6, this improves your overall count, but is not the highest priority. For the duration of Pyronado, all party members receive a 15% pyro damage bonus. Now, when you pair that with the fact that she also shreds resistances, this right here makes your Xiangling insane. So that's Xiangling all wrapped up. Now next we are going to go to Xingqiu. Now, I need to confess that I am biased. I love Xingqiu. I even went to a con and took a picture with a cosplayer of Xingqiu. But here we go. Xingqiu, if you do not have him already, base Xingqiu is highest priority. Like, he is top of highest priority. Because not only is he used in the national team, if you do continue to invest in your Xingqiu, he is one of the most universal units in the game, but also he's the most universal unit on this list. Like, right along with Xiangling, actually. But you get her for free, so don't make that your priority. So his C1 increases the maximum number of swords by 1. This is his rain swords do heal, but the healing on them isn't great. His C2, it extends the duration of his rain cutter by 3 seconds and decreases the hydro resistance of opponents hit with rain swords by 15% for 4 seconds. This improves your account. Should not necessarily be your highest priority, especially if you're free to play. This feels like it's a little up there, but it's gonna be at like the top of improves overall account. It's less game changing than getting a shield. C3 increases his rain cutter, which is his burst. That once again improves your overall account because more damage on his burst is more damage on his burst, and his burst is great. Love to see it. And his C5, nice, but you can do without it. His elemental skill has insane scaling, like really high. And especially if you're using a sacrificial sword, this can be a really great constellation. Now, his C4. Throughout the duration of his rain cutter, damage dealt by his fatal screens is increased by 15%. It's nice, but you can do without it. It gives him a little more power, mixes up his gameplay a little bit. Sure, love to see it. Now, his C6. This is gonna be in highest priority, I think. but let's give it a read before we put it anywhere. Activating 2 of Guoha Raincutter's sword's rain attacks greatly increases the 3rd sword rain attack. On hit, this 3rd sword rain attack also regenerates 3 energy for Xingqiu. That is the highest priority. It allows him to battery himself. It's more damage on his burst. Like, yes. Now, we're on to Xinyan. I almost said Xiangling again. This is gonna pain me because I actually really enjoy Xinyan as a character. I think she's super fun. I love her energy. I love her style. I like her music. The problem I have in the end is her split scaling. So it pains me to say this, but C0 Xiangling is a just don't. I'm sorry, Xinyan. I did it again. I want to be positive, so I want to talk about Xiangling again, but here we are. But let's go into it. Let's see if she can improve her standing with any constellations. Her Fatal Acceleration, which is C1, upon scoring crits, she increases her attack speed of her normal and charge attacks by 12% for 5 seconds. It can only occur once every 5 seconds, so it has 100% uptime, but she has to crit consistently. This is eh. Now, her second constellation is Impromptu Opening. Rift Revolution's physical damage has a crit rate of 100%, and it'll inform a shield at level 3 when cast. This actually cracks the nice but you can do without it. Her C3 is Double Stop, increasing her burst level by 3. Just don't. This is your one free 4-star. Don't do that. Don't do that. Especially because there's one character that we're going to talk about that isn't even on the list. So, her Constellation 4, Sweeping Fervor's swing damage decreases opponent's physical resistance by 15% for 12 seconds. That goes down in eh. For one particular reason. Usually for a physical team, you're going to want to use Cryo and Electro, and this is going to mess up your Superconduct. So for her C5, increases her shield. That's going to go in nice, but you can do without it. Like, the shield increases, nice. Now, her C6 decreases the stamina consumption of her charge attack by 30%. Additionally, her charge attacks gain attack bonus equal to 50% of her defense. That's nice, but you can do without it. It feels like it's too little too late, and it also doesn't feel like it's enough to fix her split scaling. Now let's organize these and we'll be done. But I'll put them in constellation order when I see them appear like that. Unless one of the constellations is significantly better than the other. Yeah. I feel a little weird having Beidou, like base Beidou, below C6 Chongyun, but base Beidou doesn't do as much as, she doesn't do all the Beidou things you want her to do. Like, she doesn't feel like she works as well out of the box as some of the other characters, so I'm fine with leaving her there. That is the priority list. If you don't have them, go for them. If you are close to or at one of these constellations, then go ahead and grab it. And that's my advice there. Now, for the one character that isn't on this list, we're still gonna cover her. Yunjin, I didn't forget her name. It's just that she's new. I'm going to rate her by herself, and I'm gonna put her in improves overall account, but not the highest priority. That's my final judgment on Yunjin. And yeah, that's my recommendation. If you have any comments, if you think this list is wrong, or if you just want to chat, drop a comment. Follow me on Twitter at NicePublicFace. I know not the same as my handle, but hey, it's what I can do. Follow me on Twitch. Come over and watch us. We are live every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday for more Genshin Impact content. I love you all, and hopefully I'll see you around.